Today on The Unveiled, I'm sitting down with Shannon Solomon, founder of the Purposeful Princess Society, a women's wellness community devoted to femininity, confidence, emotional intelligence, and the intentional living. Shannon helps women align ambition with authenticity through what she calls soft power, becoming powerful without abandoning your peace, your softness, or yourself. Today, we're talking about true femininity, confidence, emotional intelligence, and what it really means to become a purposeful woman. Joining me all the way from Jamaica, let's welcome Shannon Solomon. Welcome back to The Unveiled. I'm here with Shannon Solomon. What's up, Shannon?
Hey, Megan, thank you so much for having me. I'm here in the cool Jamaica, just taking in the breeze. So
Yeah.
good to see you in your place.
I was going to ask you, how's Jamaica?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's actually very windy right now, and we're getting a lot of sunshine. So, I mean, it's Jamaica, so it is warm, it is sunny, and it's good all around right now.
Of course. I've been there one time a long time ago and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. But before we talk about the Purposeful Princess Society, let's talk about who
Mhm.
is Shannon Solomon beyond the brand. Like, what was happening in your life when Purposeful Princess Society was born?
All right, lovely. So, hi again. I'm Shannon, and I go by the Purposeful Princess. It's something that I pretty much kind of grew into. Before I kind of went by different social handles as I was just trying to find my brand and everything. Before that, I was called Ice Queen, but the ice is melted and it's now Purposeful Princess. So I am just a woman who chose herself before the world even, had to validate me. Growing up, I would say I've always been, very friendly, kind, fun. I'm just a type of person that everyone always deemed as approachable. And I've pretty much been embodying femininity for quite a while, even before I knew it. And then once I understood what it is, I tried to dive more into it and, just to connect with myself more, because that's really what it is at the core.
Mhm.
Apart from the Purposeful Princess Society, I also work in business with my husband. So we're married and we're business partners. So apart from that, I'm a marketing girly, I'm a tech girly. So with AI and everything, it's, been pretty cool. The stuff that we can do now and, all of that stuff. So that's pretty much me. I'm also a very girly girl. So as you know, I love all things pink.
Yeah.
I love all people. That's just me. My friends know it. Everyone around me knows it, and yeah, that's just how it's been.
You also own a dating site, right? Called
Matched in.
Matched In. Okay. When did you start that?
Yeah, so we actually started it back in 2024. So we saw that there was a missing piece in terms of like dating where, we have all these dating sites, right? But
Yeah.
in Jamaica, we do not have like a traditional dating service. So
Hmm.
that's what we actually coined out. So we use AI as well as some questions that we sat down and we formulated together pretty much off of our own journey, how my husband and I connected, how we met, the things that we asked each other to decide if we were a match, and how our lives would merge together. Because I feel like when persons start dating, it's very surface level. And
Yeah.
then after you get committed, that's when you really start saying, oh, I didn't know this, or oh, how are we going to manage this? So, what we do with Matchden is try to eliminate the guesswork so
Mm.
that you can actually connect on a deeper level by core beliefs rather than similarities. So
That
what
is
we say,
amazing.
thank you. Yeah, so it's based off of complementary compatibility instead of just, similarities.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, what is the deeper mission behind Purposeful Princess? Like, what traits does a purposeful princess have?
hmm That's a good question. So, as the quote unquote OG, Purposeful Princess, it began in a stage where I saw that a lot of women were feeling misaligned. And also, there may be different instances in life that kind of throw your feminine energy off. So, on the outside, things look fine, but internally, you're not fully expressing yourself. So, that's where I find a lot of women, they're not fully confident, not fully choosing themselves. And that's when I realized that, hey, nobody is coming to hand you the confidence. You have to get up and go for it, and then coin that out for, what it looks like for you, because every woman is different. So here at the Purposeful Princess, I basically started doing the work, understanding femininity more for myself. It started out with my peers, my friend groups, families. So what I developed firstly was a femininity assessment, so that you can kind of find out where you are now and unveil where you actually want to go and how you want to grow your femininity. So, yeah, my husband and I, we're tech geeks. So we're always like building stuff up, sort of stuff. So we
Is that
built
the
that.
archetype that you were talking about? Sorry to cut you off. I can't hear myself, so it's difficult, but I think that was the archetype test that I took on your site.
Yes.
Yeah, I was the
Yes.
anxious one, by the way.
Yeah. Well, hey, awareness is the first step, so don't worry. So,
Yeah.
as I started to evolve, I began sharing, from my own experiences, what I learned. And then, with me finding myself, it also helped me to find other women who are in the same space, and we just connected together. And I also think it's a good way because I strongly believe that as women, we're not meant to just be by ourselves. We deserve to have a community, we deserve fellowship. So that's something that I feel strongly about. And that's how the Purposeful Princess Society was coined.
Yeah, I saw that you said somewhere community versus competition. You seem to be
Yeah.
trying to like unite women instead of like, yeah, I love that about you. I love that. Um I heard you mention the word whimsy, and I've been seeing this word everywhere on TikTok lately. I'm like, so how does that fit in with the society?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we talk about whimsy, it's just doing those things that kind of take away like you having to think so hard about what you're doing. A lot of women right now, we have to be like the decision makers, that sort of thing. So femininity has to do with freedom, it has to do with flow, it has to do with just embracing your softer side. So when you stay whimsical, that's when you do more things that allows you to express your femininity than just operating from a day-to-day basis, moving from survival now to actually
Mhm.
embracing your feminine side. So yeah, it's doing all the artsy things. It's even as simple as just grounding, taking off your shoes, going outside, walking around, as we like to say in Jamaica, touch grass.
Oh, love
So
that. Love
yeah.
that. This episode is sponsored by Torchbearer Tachyon, a divine portal for peace based in Charlotte, North Carolina. They offer 1 hour nervous system resets, available both in person and remotely, designed to bring you into alignment physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically. If you're feeling called to reset and recalibrate, you can experience it for yourself at a discounted rate. Listeners of The Unveiled receive 20% off your first session, bringing it from 111 down to 88.80 when you use code UNVEILED20. Book your session at torchbearertachyon.com today. You talk about
Yeah.
soft power and living a soft, structured life. I love that. Can you explain what soft power means to you and why women need that right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically in like my defining values, soft power is what I operate out of. So just as how you have masculine energy, which is more so oftentimes seen as like the dominant energy, it is more compelling, it is just right out there in your face. Soft
Mm-hmm.
power is the ability to influence without having to force persons to like take a stance with you. So it's coming
Mm.
from a place of, yeah, so it's not about being passive, but it's about being intentional in how you show up so people naturally respond to you. And that's where we have the power as women. So when we actually embrace our femininity more, it allows persons to naturally gravitate to us because we have like that magnetic pull. So persons feel drawn to that, and it's just natural. It's just natural. So it comes down to like your intuition. It's how you lead, attract, and also set the tone just through your energy, just through, your conversations, and also your emotional intelligence, how you relate to other persons without trying to control or pressure anyone to make a decision. It just naturally gravitates.
So how do you hold on to that ambition
Mm,
and the softness at the same time? Because I have major issues with this. Like I'm always like I'm very masculine. I this pink right now, it may look like I'm not, but I'm telling you, girl, I am like go go go, got to get it done myself. Can't relax,
mm,
and I want to be like you. Like when I saw you on TikTok, I was like, oh my god, like that's it, that's what I want, you know. Like, just like the chill
love
mode
that.
but still this like powerhouse personality. How do you
Mhm.
get the softness and the ambition to coexist with each other?
Okay, perfect. And that's actually a very, very good question because I feel like that's where a lot of women actually question themselves. I know
Yeah.
even for you, I've been following your content a lot. I love
Oh.
your content. I love how authentic you put yourself out there. I know it's not easy and I know it's still a work in progress, but hey, that's just what life is. It's a journey. So with everything, we have to try and just embrace the process as we go along. So in terms of how femininity and ambition can coexist, it shows up in your career or in your life as empathetic leadership. So
Mm.
empathy, that is one of the most crucial points. And I know as women, we may feel as though our emotions are a weakness, but I don't believe that. I believe that it is a strength because we feel so deeply, we're able to connect more. So that's it. You feel more deeply, you're able to connect more. And it also entails a strong communication, but not just communication with control, but also with emotional awareness. And what it actually means is collaboration instead of domination. So for a lot of boss babes, a lot of women who are leading a very successful life, who are very career oriented, we may feel as though because we're competing with men in these fields, we have to dominate them. But I beg to differ. It's more so of collaboration. So what I actually mean or how that shows up is when you collaborate more, it builds trust, loyalty, and it also brings out that soft power. So you having to, you're able to influence them without actually being controlling or asking them to, hey, dominate them or trying to control them. So it's the difference comes in how you communicate. So it's more calm, it's more grounded, it's more intentional. And I believe that power is not just in volume, it's also in presence and delivery. Because I've
Mm.
seen where in a lot of different instances, trust me, sometimes you're in some heated situations where you have to make tough decisions. You're trying to communicate your needs. And this kind of shows up in our work. As I said, my husband and I, we work together, right? So his leadership style is way different than my leadership style. He's a more dominant force. He gets persons to get things done. And then when he enforces that type of leadership structure, and probably it works for some persons and it doesn't work for some because people are different, right, at the core.
Yeah.
So when I show up from a sense of collaboration to say, hey, what's happening here, how can we support you in getting what you need to get done better? Are you struggling with something? Because there's a lot of things that happen in person's life. It's not just a one size fits all. So someone may be dealing with something that is internal that's affecting them from carrying out what they need to do in the workplace. And then as a leader, you have to be able to embrace that. You have to be able to say, hey, okay, I know you're dealing with this, but at the same time the work needs to get done. So how can we form a balance in order to further create, actually getting what we need to get done. So it does come down to also your intuition. And the
Yeah.
intuition is the internal guidance that you have for yourself. And through that, it helps us as women. That's where we kind of have an advantage. And if we just lean into our intuition more and trust ourselves, and we can say, hey, you know what? We might even practice a response in our head, say, you know what? If I go from this approach, I know this is the reaction that I'm going to get. So let me try a different approach and then see how they take it. So that's just kind of how I believe it's done.
Nicely
Because at the
said.
base, thank you. And I just want to end by saying at the base, you can be feminine while also being ambitious. It just comes down more to your empathy and how you lead through that.
Yeah, you said something about when you get angry, that's when you get calmer in
Yes.
response to for a masculine man, because masculine men will they respond
React.
better. Yeah, they respond better to a calm woman, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And I know it's not easy, especially when you are heated, you are in the moment. But I want all women to remember that, hey, your femininity is just how you ground yourself. So even if there's something that really gets you upset to the point where you really want to just go off and cuss,
Mhm.
it comes down to one thing: grace.
Mm.
Grace, grace, grace. So, first, you have to calm yourself, because if we allow those cortisol levels to spike, it's not gonna be good for us, right? So, it
Right.
happens sometimes, but we have to be graceful throughout it to say, hey, you know what? I'm expressing myself. I'm angry. I don't feel good about this right now. Honestly, I can't talk about this right now. So let me just take a step back and ground myself so that we can get the emotions in order to apply a sense of logic with emotion to dealing with the situation. So that's just how I see it.
Love it. What would you say the
Thank
number one killer of feminine energy is?
you. The number one killer of feminine energy, it's definitely just not allowing yourself to receive.
Mm,
Like,
I've got
yeah,
that going
yeah,
on big time, girl.
I know, I know.
I'm
But
like the
hey, it's
give
also,
giver, right? I guess that's how feminine energy is. It's like the giving energy, right? But then when you
well,
overgive,
the receiving energy, that's what it is. It's the receiving energy.
oh,
So let me try to break it down. So
okay,
that's why as women, when we give so much and we end up overextending ourselves, it leads to burnout.
yeah,
Because in the natural essence, femininity is receiving, it's being present, it's being grounded, it's allowing rather than forcing, it's
oh,
collaboration rather than dominating. So that's what it really comes down to. And I think that's what drains a lot of women from their femininity, because naturally women are also givers because we care a lot, right? So we're very kind, we have big hearts. Persons may not see that, they may want to take advantage of that. And that's why it's so important for us to preserve our inner peace and our grace, and also nurture our femininity. So different ways that we can, stay grounded, as I said, incorporating more whimsy in your life. So femininity is fueled through expression. So that comes down to different physical things, whether it's painting, drawing. It can also be dancing, singing, just allowing yourself to be more connected with your body. And that's what really brings out the femininity. So when we are giving so much of ourselves, then like what's left for us? And it also shows up with a lot of women who are raising children by themselves, because it's like you have to be doing, both jobs. You're playing the mom and you're playing the dad. But especially if you're raising like young boys, it's important for them to see you in your femininity so they know how to operate more from their masculine. because when we as women operate from femininity, it allows the masculine, whether it is our husband, our family members, and also our sons, to see that, and they naturally want to protect that. They naturally want to help. And that's why I say, as women, we have to receive more, because when you actually allow that, then it helps you to rest more in your femininity. So take the help, ask for the help. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Like, just try it. Let go of the outcome and just allow yourself to feel. And if, let's say, you try it and something doesn't work out the way that it should, then hey, you take it as a learning lesson. I can adjust from this. I understand that, hey, this person might not work with that approach. So you assess it and then you move on, because femininity, it's not like a one size fits all cap. It's just a journey for women to go on, and as you go, then you get better, and then you get more in tune with yourself. So that's essentially what I believe.
That makes so much sense to me now. I had no
So
idea that giving was kind of like masculine and
yes.
receiving was feminine. Because I've been
Yeah.
giving everything till I have nothing left. And then I get pissed off, burnout, like you're saying,
um,
resentful. And it's like,
yeah,
let yourself just receive. Let everybody else just take the fucking wheel for a minute. You know what I mean? Like,
that's
so
it.
yeah, I'm gonna work on this receiving thing. And it's funny because that was my word for the year was to
Yeah,
receive. So yeah.
Steve, I love. So I want to ask you, like, how has it been, on your journey? What do you find to be like the main obstacles? Like, is it asking, or is it really just allowing yourself to receive without feeling guilty? Like, what
that
is it for you?
that
Yeah.
allowing myself to just, and I think I have this belief too that like if I don't do it, it won't get done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that belief rules me a lot and I need to let that go. But yeah, I mean I'm definitely probably gonna be working with you soon. So you're just amazing here.
Thank you. Thank you.
I heard you say that masculine women attract feminine men. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
for me personally, I used to
Yeah.
think that my partner was feminine, but then in a recent podcast, I realized that he's
Mhm.
not really feminine, he's masculine, but I'm masculine too, which is
Ah,
like, yeah, which is like cutting off the chemistry circulation line,
yeah.
right?
That's the
Yeah.
polarity, the duality
Yeah.
of
So, how do you when someone's been masculine like that their whole life, and I've been
it.
with my partner for 18 years now, like how do
Wow.
you switch that dynamic, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. That's actually a very good question. So I find that a lot of women are at that pivotal point where they're wondering, hey, I've been operating in my masculine energy for so long. How can I shift it to be more feminine? And it just comes down to the small habits that you can incorporate in your daily life. Because as you know, I mean, you've pretty much been interviewing a lot of different persons on your podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure something that resonates is just the habits that you incorporate in your life, right? So just those small shifts that you can do, it may not feel like a lot in the moment, but I guarantee you that when you continue and you stay consistent, then it can show up more. So let's say 3 years down the line, or a year down the line, a couple months down the line, then you're like, wait, this actually used to affect me way more than it does now. Like, I saw where I would be giving, but now I have pulled back from that. And it has allowed me to feel more free. It has allowed me to embrace looking out for myself more. It has allowed me to show up in ways that I can be there for other persons without feeling like I have to be fixing every damn thing that's happening around me.
Yeah.
So it comes down to understanding that your femininity is not a weakness, it's not silence, and it's not just, submission. Because submission without actually a goal, or a guiding force is just you being soft for no reason, and then persons may feel like they can walk all over you. But
Mm.
another strong aspect of femininity is enforcing boundaries. So as women, especially when we're embracing our feminine side, we have to set boundaries for ourselves, and that may be hard for persons who, have embraced a different side of you, or they've experienced you in a different light, and now you're setting boundaries. It's gonna, take them back a bit.
Yeah.
But I can assure you that it's necessary for your own well-being. So when you actually embrace your femininity more, it allows you to access that soft power. You increase your emotional awareness, your relationship depth. So in your relationship, it can show up as, as you said, if there's two forces that are the same, like two masculine energy trying to get stuff done, and then it also entails you trusting more.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yes. So you take a step back, because I know as women, sometimes we feel like we have to be the fixer, we have to fix everything. Like with me and my husband, I allow him to do what he needs to do. If we're making decisions, we collaborate on it, and then I allow him to take the action so that it can get done. Sometimes we may feel like, hey, I need to do it so that it can be done right. But if we don't allow someone else to do it, then we're going to always be the ones doing it, and
Right.
then we won't be able to receive, that energy. So it comes as a place where you shift from always doing to just being, from always giving to allowing and receiving. So that's essentially what it is. And another key aspect is when you show your partner that, hey, you give them that space to trust them to do, and even if they mess up, it's going to trigger something inside them to say, hey, you know what, I messed this up, and I'm going to get it right the next time, because I see that I have this whole other human that is a part of me, who is looking to me to actually make the decisions and get stuff done. So I need to buckle up my shoes, I need to pull up my socks and actually go there and get it done.
Yeah.
So when you shift into that energy, it allows the other energy around you, or the masculine energy around you, to become more dominant.
Nice. Nice. You say masculine men respond better to softness. So can you talk about the feminine communication some that you speak of?
Yeah, absolutely. So, firstly, a key aspect is just grace, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's also just being pleasant. So, as women, we would be embracing our more so softer side, and in order for you to embrace it, you have to make small shifts in your life. So, forming a routine, having that structure for yourself as a woman is very important, because as we know, we basically already run on a cycle. So we have to structure we have to structure ourselves around that cycle for whatever phase that we may be in. And especially when I see something that's very important on TikTok that I have kind of drew into as well. It's called cycle syncing.
Hmm.
So based on what aspect of your cycle you're in, whether it's like the luteal phase, the follicular phase, there are different things that we can do that ground us more as women around that. Because I think it's just so powerful. Like just like the moon, it wanes, it waxes, it has different phases, and then around the moon, different things happen in those different phases, right? So as women, we also have to develop that routine, that structure around our own phases, so that we are able to adjust to the energy that we have at that specific moment, because we don't have the same level of energy throughout a month as like a man would have, in case of his testosterone. So
Right.
we have to understand how to adjust that, and there are small shifts that we can make in our life, and it also includes pouring into yourself more, allowing yourself to feel more. Sometimes we may run away from feeling because it makes us feel weak. it makes us feel as though we don't have the strength to actually do something. But have you ever experienced something when it's like you're running away from something, right? You had an experience in your life that you don't want to like talk about. You just feel angry. Maybe something happened with you and your friends and you're just kind of like brushing it to the side and not addressing it. But the moment that you allow yourself to feel deeply, the moment that you express yourself, because femininity is also expression, it's not suppression.
Mm,
So if we suppress our emotions, then yeah, that's where, the limitations will come in. So it's very important that we know how to express ourselves and communicate that. And then that goes hand in hand with enforcing boundaries. So
nice.
say what you need to say, get it out, and then see how you feel after that's done. So it just comes down to adjusting to that.
Nice. So I'm big on like identity work, and a lot of women are trying to become her, right? What does becoming her actually mean to you?
Love that. So, actually, here at the Purposeful Princess Society, we kind of go by that framework of becoming her, right?
Hmm.
So, she is not the same person for everyone. I mean, idealistically, we can have, someone or some things or qualities that we want more of, and it's not the same for every woman, and that's completely fine. Like, becoming her is simply becoming the highest version of you, the
Hmm.
more aligned version of you, like just the more graceful version of you, the version of you that allows you to feel more deeply. It allows you to kind of just be more present with everyone around you without being in your head so much.
Hmm.
Like, the moment we start being in our head and overthinking everything, it takes away from us actually becoming the highest version of ourselves. And overthinking, it's fine, like it happens, but the moment that we realize we are shifting to that, we have to bring ourselves back in the present. So femininity, it's about being more rooted in the present than actually trying to foresee the future, trying to understand what happened in the past. Like, why didn't this happen, why didn't I do this, like, why am I not here yet? But we have to really embrace the now. And that's actually a strong aspect of being femininity. So, in the context of femininity, when we say you are becoming her, it doesn't mean you are putting on a persona that's not you. It's just becoming a more aligned version of you. So,
Love
let's
it.
say there's a woman who's probably struggling with communicating, enforcing her boundaries. She's just basically a people pleaser. Like, at one point in my life, dare I say it, I was a people pleaser, because I
Me
just
too.
felt like, yeah, I just always felt like, hey, I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. I want to be there for the persons around me. And that's the only way I thought I could do that. But hey, we have to embrace ourselves, because you have to put yourself first, like, no matter what. You have to be there, because if something happens to you, then how can you truly be there for the persons around you?
What shifted
So,
that for you? What was the breaking point of that to where you were like, no more?
oh my gosh. So yeah, we're getting deep here. So I it was so for me personally, it happened through family, interactions with different family members, or, well, specific family members.
Hmm.
Because I feel like when persons have a certain version of you in their head, it's super hard for them to let go of that. Like, they just always see you as that. And then if you keep conforming to their beliefs of you, then you're just going to be stuck in a cycle that's ongoing. You're always giving, and then somehow it's like you're always giving, but at the same time it's never enough. like
Right.
like how like, how can that be? Because it's like, I've given so much, what more do you want from me, damn it. So
Yes.
that's literally what it is. So it came for me, it came through a point in my life where as I started developing my identity, I started owning into who I am more and who I saw that I wanted to be. I had to enforce stricter boundaries. And it was super hard for me at the beginning because I'm like always thinking about other person's emotions. I'm always thinking about, hey, how are they going to feel? Because we're just feelers, we're just
Right.
emotional poor. So it's literally that. But at the same time, there has to be a balance.
Yeah.
So I realized that that was lacking in my life. And when I always wanted to please, the persons around me, it took away from me being fully present and being there for myself. So that's when I knew the shift had to happen. And it's always good to talk to persons. It's always good to get help. I mean, I didn't have a therapist or anything so to say, but I have close friends that I can confide in, and it's always great to get different perspectives. But at the core, always ensure that you trust your intuition, and the decision that you're making, it's your own, because you know how it's going to affect you or how it's going to make you feel in your own self. So I started enforcing more boundaries. I stopped making myself so available, because when you're so available to other persons, it takes away from you being available for yourself and doing the things that can benefit you more. So that was a shift for me, honestly. It was hard at first, but then after a while, when you realize that, hey, me overextending myself, it's still not getting me anywhere. So
Right.
I'm just going to and just get it over with. So yeah, that was it for me.
Hmm. So, for women who feel disconnected from their feminine, what is your number one tip to reconnect with that part of themselves?
hmm Lovely. So my number one tip to reconnect with that part of yourself, it's first self-awareness, right? So understanding where you are. It doesn't benefit us to be in denial. It doesn't benefit us to try to justify why we are how we are. We have to understand that, hey, this is where I am, and it may be an uncomfortable place, but allowing yourself to embrace the journey and embrace that, hey, I want to get better at a certain thing. I want to get better at truly connecting with myself more, and that's where the shift really happens. So the first step is self-awareness, and then it also comes down to just a deep knowing that I coined with intuition. So you have to do the deep work. Like, you have to do the deep work. You have to come face to face with yourself and say, hey, I'm looking at myself. This is how I am. And how do I want to be? So it comes from, just firstly knowing that, hey, I want to improve. It's not necessarily that you want to change and you're going to become a whole different person, but you are aware of the fact that you want to improve, and then you take the steps to do so. Because one thing that a lot of women may be confused about is thinking that femininity might mean being girly. And quote unquote, they're not the same. You can be girly and be feminine. You can be girly and be feminine, but femininity does not have to mean being girly or dressing girly or just pink pink pink. It just happens that I was like that
Yeah.
because I'm both.
Yeah.
So it's completely fine, because then with the archetypes, there are different aspects. Like, for me, I have a higher archetype in certain aspects than I do in others, because there are different types of femininity, right? You have light femininity, dark femininity. You have the archetype of being a high femme, who is like a more polished version of a feminine woman. She likes to dress up, she likes to do her maintenance, that sort of stuff. And then you also have maternal femininity, which stems from your deep knowing and understanding as a maternal figure. You don't necessarily have to be a mom, but you could be like that aunt, like just that person who's always looking out for others around you. That's maternal femininity. And then, there's just a lot of different things that go into understanding which archetype you are. So once you understand that, then you can know, hey, I can embrace this side of me more so that I can become a more aligned version of myself. I am pouring into myself without feeling like I'm over giving. So that's essentially what it comes down to, that understanding of where you are now and then shifting into the version of yourself that you want to be.
Nice. For the men
Yeah.
listening dealing with a masculine woman, what can they do to help bring her back online?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so for that, and what I found as well is, especially in Jamaica, there's a lot of women who say, I'm waiting for a man so that I can be feminine,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
But I feel like if you don't embrace that side of you first, then it's going to become hard for you to see that alignment in the masculine partner. So,
Right.
for women, firstly, I want to say, hey, try to embrace the feminine side of you more. And then for the masculine counterparts, you need to allow your women to fully rest in their feminine. Like,
Mm,
you need to do all that you can do to facilitate her being more feminine. Like, if a man is more laid back, it comes down to his leadership style, right? Like, if, let's say, for example, the masculine man, he's very laid back. He does not like making decisions. He's not helping you with some simple things, like, even something as simple as chivalry, it makes a great deal of difference. Like, just knowing that you can trust the masculine counterpart, that he's going to open doors for you physically and literally. So opening the doors, ensuring that you're always okay. As men, we need, well, not as men, but men, y'all need to check in more on feminine partner.
I second
Yes.
that. Yes, I agree with
Yes.
that.
So they need to check in, and they also need to ask more. I think that, the masculine man can ask more questions, get to understand the feminine so that they're able to show up in the way that they should to fully support her. Because when a woman feels like she's doing everything on her own, or she's the only one that can do everything right, then it's going to disconnect her from her femininity.
Wow.
So, as yeah, so men, they have to, you be there to ask, what do you need help with? Even something as simple as, like, when I'm cooking, my husband, he will come around and he'll say, hey, do you need help with something? And then I'll be like, yeah, sure, you can cut up these vegetables.
Yeah.
He's gonna cut up, he's gonna help me. If there's a can.
You never deny help anymore, do you? Like if somebody offers, you're like, "Yes." Love that.
Exactly. So a
Uh,
good practice is just saying yes, or having a yes day. So
yeah.
asking for help and saying yes. Even if, let's say, my husband, he's not around and there's another masculine counterpart around, I'm going to ask him for help. I'm going to say yes. If he says, "Hey, can I help you with your bags?" or "Can I do this?" I'm going to say yes, respectfully.
All right. I'm going to start working on that, saying yes more. That'll be
Love that.
easy. So we're running out of time here, Shannon. It has been such
Oh,
a beautiful conversation with you. Oh my gosh. I wanted to tell you before I came here, I was already feeling your frequency. Like, I went and bought pink stuff. I shaved today. I put some perfume on. Girl, I was
yeah.
ready for it. So you are a strong force, my friend.
Aw.
My final question is, what legacy do you want your work to leave?
I love that. So, my husband and I were even kind of talking about it earlier in
Mm,
terms of, like, the framework that I live by, or the framework that helped me so that I can help other women. So, the legacy that I want to leave is helping women to know that, hey, softness, it's not a weakness, it's a
mm,
strength. It's something that we can own in more on, because when we are more feminine, it eliminates a lot of guesswork. It eliminates a lot of strife and stress and strain that we have to go through. And if collectively as women we become more feminine, then collectively the men will become more masculine and be, do their role that they should in society. So we shouldn't feel like we have to force persons to do stuff, because it comes down to just leading from an area of, influencing without controlling them. It comes down to just trusting and resting in trusting your intuition, just that deep knowing that, hey, if I continue to move as a feminine woman, then things will become more aligned for me. So I want to leave a legacy of women. Right now I have about 100 women in my community, that's across like Instagram and WhatsApp. And what we do is we try to incorporate different things in our lives. So come up with different practices that they can do. We have one-on-ones, and then we also have fellowship as women, just connecting, because as I said, femininity, it's community, it's collaboration and not competition.
Love
So we
that.
have to see other women like I see you as me. Like, you're beautiful, you're kind, your smile, it lights everything up. And I want to leave that legacy that I've helped women to embrace that side of them, so that it can continue to duplicate, and just continue to spread. Because I feel like
Ripple.
femininity, yes,
Yeah.
yes, like that ripple effect.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's essentially what it is to me at the core. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I just live it every day. Like, every woman that I come across, I see her as my sister. I see her as a reflection of me. And I feel like once as women we collectively collaborate and we also increase our confidence, then the world, it's just unstoppable. Like, we're just unstoppable at that point.
I love that about you because it's like I have like a lot of girls that follow me on social media or whatnot that were my friends, but they won't even like anything that I post. And I'm
Oh,
like, what
yes.
is this? Is this a fucking competition or are we fucking community, you know? So I love that
Yeah,
about you and I love that you're spreading that and keep doing what you're
yeah.
doing. You are such a star. Like, I swear you light up my page every time I see you. So,
That, so I'll keep posting more so
please,
you
I
get.
love it.
Thank you so much. And I love seeing you too. I absolutely love the work that you're doing here with the Unveiled.
Mm.
And just this, it creates a space for many persons to come on and just be themselves, be authentic. And you being so open and embracing that, it's a beautiful, beautiful quality. So thank you so
Ah,
much.
you're gonna make me cry. Ah. Well, thank you
Virtual
so
heart.
much. All right. Well,
Yes.
I will. Oh. Where can they find you? Where can they find you? And I'll need.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So it is The Purposeful Princess on all social platforms. And you can find me on my website at thepurposefulprincess.com. So that's it.
Awesome. All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Shannon, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you,
All
Megan.
right, honey.
Cheers.
Bye.